Well, we are going across live now to get you some visuals of the arrival of the Saudi President, I beg your pardon, the UAE President to India. The President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, has arrived in India on an official visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted him at the airport. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed shares a warm and close relationship with the Prime Minister. He is visiting India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, this marks his third official visit to India since he assumed office as the President of the UAE. This is his fifth visit to India over the past decade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi shares a close relationship with Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. We are joined by our correspondent Siddharth Bhardwaj, who is at the airport and can fill us in with some of the details. Siddharth, put this into context. Prime Minister himself going to the airport to greet the incoming dignitary, the President of the UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Siddharth, can you hear me?
The President of the United Arab Emirates is on an official visit to India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself received him, goes on to show the growing friendship and warm ties between both the countries, which has flourished over the years, especially under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both the leaders also witnessed a cultural dance performance from Northeast, and the dance performance is called, the dance form is called the Dhol Cholam. So both the leaders witnessed that as well. And this is a very significant visit by the UAE President, in the fact that it will give a fillip to the bond between both the countries, to ties between both the countries, and this will be the UAE President's third official visit to India since assuming office as the President of the United Arab Emirates, and his fifth visit to India over the past decade. He met Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as we all saw, and our viewers, which are also witnessing this on DD India. Both the leaders are expected to hold bilateral talks. The fact, Mark, is that UAE is India's third largest partner and second largest trade destination. When you talk about the trade between both the countries, it exceeded $100 billion in financial year 2024-25. And like the fact I've said that it is his third visit in his capacity as the UAE President. When you talk about the exports and imports, so India exports jewelry, India exports refined oil, electronics and agricultural products. On the other hand, it imports crude oil, gold and diamond. And, Mark, the further talks on trade of non-oil products is still going on. The relationship between both the countries is boosted by a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, Mark, which will provide a fillip to the ties between both the countries. And this is at a time when India is diversifying its energy basket, and UAE is a prominent, is a pivotal energy partner for India. Both the leaders will exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest as well. Also, Mark, the fact that the bilateral investment treaty with United Arab Emirates gives the continuity of investment protection to the investors of both the countries. It is also very significant. So, all in all, we can say that the ties between both the countries are growing stronger and stronger, especially under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the fact that today Prime Minister Narendra Modi received the UAE President shows the warmth in ties between both the countries and how
Yes.
the ties between both the countries have flourished over the years. Both the leaders are expected to discuss the entire gamut of bilateral relationship, Mark, which goes from defense to investments to security to people ties to cultural connect. And there are some other sectors as well. And as we all know, energy is a very key issue, is a very key sector for India. So the talks regarding energy are also expected as and when the talks will take place, and what the talks will, will be about. We will let you know about it. But as of now, both the leaders are expected to discuss the entire gamut of bilateral ties, which has flourished over the years, and such is the warmth, and such is this goes on to show the relationship, the bond between both the countries. The UAE President is in India, like I said, Mark, on an official visit at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself received him. That itself shows how the ties between both the countries are, and the ties that both the countries share. So both the leaders are expected to discuss various issues, various topics also.
Indeed.
And it will certainly give a fillip to the ties between both the countries. The ties between both the countries will be boosted. They also currently have been boosted through SEPA, like I said, Mark, and also with the bilateral.
Prime Minister has also
tweeted,
posted on X, Siddharth. Let me just read this out. Prime Minister says he went to the airport to welcome my brother, His Highness Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the UAE. His visit illustrates the importance he attaches to a strong India-UAE friendship. Looking forward to our discussions. And you were saying, Siddharth, that the discussions are looking at charting new frontiers in the India-UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. There's also, you did mention about the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which is a crucial one, and the local currency settlement mechanism. So the countries are, also looking beyond, let's say, the dollar as a reserve currency of the world.
Oh, definitely, Mark. And, like I just mentioned also, that the ties between both the countries have already boosted by the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement and the local currency settlement. So like you rightly mentioned, that both the countries are looking forward to go away for dollars, because what LCS is, it's local currency settlement. That means, Mark, that the trade will happen in the local currency. The trade and settlement will be in the local currency. So that will give advantage to the companies who will be investing there. That will give an added advantage to the trade which will happen between both the countries, as the trade will happen in the local currencies. So the conversion to dollars will not take place, and that is where the LCS comes into place. And it's a very, very important system. And that between both the countries, the trade will take place either in rupees or in dirham. So in that manner, the conversion to dollar will not take place. So that means the trade will take place in a very smooth line manner. And also, there are some other added benefits when it comes to LCS. Also, Mark, I would like to mention about the BIT, which is the Bilateral Investment Treaty between both the countries. The Bilateral Investment Treaty between both the countries was signed in the year 2024 and it came into effect in the same year in the month of August. So that treaty also gives a protection when it comes to the investment into each other's countries, which is very, very important. Under certain rules and guidelines, there will be a protection. So the people, the companies, the big companies, the tycoons, whoever are investing in each other's company, they will have the guarantee, the protection of the investments. So that will give an added advantage, and it will also strengthen the economic ties between both the countries, which is very, very important. And like I also mentioned, in the financial year 24-25, the trade exceeded 100 billion. So that is something which is very, very important.
Also, we need to look, Siddharth, at the fact that, the largest expatriate community lives in the UAE of India. About 4.3 million to 4.4 million people. That is about 35% of the population of the UAE consists of Indians, actually. So, or Indians working there. And they come, largely in the areas of construction, finance, healthcare, retail, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, because of course the southern states are, closer in proximity by the sea route. Is that, also something that is significant when we look at this relationship and why it is important, it is because of the large Indian community that lives in the UAE.
Oh, very, very important, Mark. In fact, very, very important. This is a very crucial point that you have picked up, that one of the largest expatriate communities there in the United Arab Emirates. And, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi also, when we see whenever he goes to the United Arab Emirates or for any country for that matter, the diaspora which is there, the warm and affection which Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets from the diaspora population, that every now and then we see that, and it goes on to show that how the expatriate community, the diaspora, the Indian community which is residing in the United Arab Emirates, how they are bridging the gap between both the countries, and they're also bringing in money to India as well. So that is why they are also strengthening the economic front. When it comes to the economic sector, they're also giving a boost to the economic sector. And as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi always say, he always say that they are Rashtraduts. So the fact that it's one of the largest expatriate communities there in the United Arab Emirates, it is very, very important, because it's also part of people-to-people connect, Mark, which is very, very important when you talk about the ties between both the countries and when you talk about the cultural connect as well. Today also, Mark, I just told you that when both the leaders met and when Prime Minister Narendra Modi received the UAE President, they both witnessed a cultural dance performance, and the dance form is called Doordarshan, which is the dance form from the Northeast. So basically, it is also boosting the cultural connect between both the countries, and it's also taking India's rich cultural legacy to the entire world. So in that manner, it is very, very important when it comes to the relationship, when it comes to the bond between both the countries. And today, when both the leaders will meet, they will be discussing the entire gamut of bilateral relations, like I told you, which will include defense, which will include investment, which will include healthcare, which will also include energy, which is a very, very important sector between both the countries, and also people-to-people connect and cultural ties. So in that manner, we can say that the bond which both the countries share is very, very special, and it has flourished over the years, especially under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mark.
Also important to understand about how pluralistic the UAE society has become because of the Indians there. I mean, a majority of them obviously belong to the Hindu community, and as a result, the UAE has built Hindu temples, and this has also led to the cultural bridge between the two countries and how it has been strengthened.
Oh, definitely, Mark. Cultural connect, like I said, is very, very crucial, very, very important, and it also connects the people between both the countries. Apart from the fact that both the countries already enjoy the ties in various sectors, which includes defense, which include energy, because India and UAE, they enjoy a robust energy partnership, which long-term energy supply arrangements. The fact that culture joins people, it joins heart, it joins people who are, there at a distance. So that is a very, very important part, very important sector, and a very important sector to join both the countries. The fact that you said that the Hindu temple is there in United Arab Emirates, and India also, when Indians go there, they feel a cultural connect, and likewise when people from UAE come here, they also feel a sense of they feel very, very good. And the fact that India is known for its hospitality and believes in the fact that Atithi Devo Bhava, we treat our guests like our God. So the people who come here from different parts of the world, they enjoy warm hospitality from India, and that's the reason, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the tourism sector has also got a huge boom over the past few years, Mark. And when people come here, they feel really, really nice, and the kind of hospitality they receive from India, it goes on to show the fact that how India is developing as a country, which also aligns with its vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, the year when Bharat will be celebrating the centenary of its independence and is expected to make everything under the sun. And so that's the reason why, Mark, the ties between both the countries are very, very special. Both the countries enjoy a very warm and special ties. And like I say always, I would say this, that
Right.
under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, the ties between both the countries have got a huge boom. And this is a
Indeed.
very, very special visit by the UAE President, which will give
One-
further fillip
one-
for the boost between the ties.
One more
when it
aspect
comes
that
to the ties
maybe we
between both the
could,
countries.
one more aspect that we maybe need to focus on is that, the Gulf in general and the UAE in particular sends back a lot of money to India through remittances. In fact, it is of the order of some, much higher than one would imagine, close to about $25 billion. And it's a huge amount of money that comes in regularly. And it had reached a record, in fact, of $118 billion once. So this is a huge amount of money that comes in on a daily basis from Indians working in the UAE, sending money back to their families in India. And that also helps the Indian economy in purchasing power and, in also in the domestic demand that's keeping the economy alive and strong.
Definitely, Mark. This is what exactly I was just talking to you about a while back. The community, the Indian community who is residing there in the United Arab Emirates, and you rightly mentioned that one of the largest expatriate communities, when they are sending money, it's also strengthening the economy of the country, and India will soon become the third largest economy in the world. And the fact that the expatriate Indian community who's residing there in the United Arab Emirates, they act as a bridge between both the countries, and there's a cultural connect. That is a very important
Right.
sector, and people-to-people ties between both the countries that have also strengthened over the years. So all in all, I also talked to you about the trade between both the countries, Mark. When you talk about the FY 2024-25, it has exceeded $100 billion. And the
Right.
fact that you were talking about the remittances, on daily basis, which India receives, it is
Yes.
also strengthening the economy of India, and it's a very, very important thing which you've just
Talk a
discussed.
bit, Siddharth, about this gesture of the Prime Minister receiving the visiting dignitary at the airport, and also, traveling in the Prime Minister's vehicle, as we can see here. They are going together.
Definitely,
Yes,
definitely, Mark.
speak a bit about that.
Definitely,
Yeah.
Mark. Mark, I told you a while back that India believes in Atithi Devo Bhava. We treat our guests like our God. And when Prime Minister Narendra Modi today received the President of the United Arab Emirates, it showed the ties, the warm ties between both the countries, the flourishing ties between both the countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself going and receiving the UAE President. A lot of dignitaries come here, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi going there and receiving the UAE President goes on to show the kind of relationship that both the countries share. And the fact that both the countries sat, both the leaders, I beg your pardon, both the leaders sat in one car, further goes on to show that the kind of friendship which both the leaders share. And like I just told you that this is the UAE President's third visit in his capacity as the President of the United Arab Emirates, and his fifth visit over past decade goes on to show that how much he loves to come to India, how much he loves the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and also the fact that the ties between both the countries are touching heights, the ties between both the countries are growing, the ties between both the countries are flourishing. So this gesture by the Prime Minister, itself gives a message that how India looks at United Arab Emirates, and likewise how United Arab Emirates looks at India. So,
Indeed.
all in all, we can say, Mark, that it's a very, very special gesture, very, very warm gesture, which goes on to show the ties between both the countries, the relationship between both the countries, and how they are growing and how they have grown over the years, especially under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Indeed, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us for the moment, Siddharth Bardwaj, and putting that into context for us. Now, in other news, the Polish Deputy Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister of Poland, Radoslaw Sikorski, he met the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in New Delhi on Monday. The two leaders, what did they do? They discussed the India-Poland strategic partnership. And during the opening remarks of the External Affairs Minister, he said that bilateral relations have progressed over the past few years. He also said that they're going to be reviewing the Action Plan 2024 to 2028, and they are seeking to realize the full potential of the strategic relationship.
Today, Deputy Prime Minister, we would review the Action Plan 2024-28, through which we seek to realize the full potential of our strategic partnership. We will also discuss ways to take forward our cooperation in trade and investment, defense and security, clean technologies, and digital innovation. Poland is one of India's largest trading partners in Central Europe. Our bilateral trade, I believe, stands at about $7 billion, having registered a growth of almost 200% in the past decade. Indian investment in Poland has surpassed $3 billion, creating a number of job opportunities for Poles. India's strong economic growth, size of its market, and pro-investment policies provide immense opportunity for Polish businesses. In recent past, both in New York last September and in Paris this January, I have candidly shared our views on the Ukraine conflict and its implications. While doing so, I have also repeatedly underlined that the selective targeting of India is both unfair and unjustified. I do so again today. Poland should display zero tolerance for terrorism and not help fuel the terrorist infrastructure in our neighborhood.
And the German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil also said on Monday that there would be a strong response to additional US tariffs, adding that the European Union needed robust instruments to counter unfair trade practices. Let's listen to him.
And France are in agreement. We will not allow ourselves to be blackmailed. Europe will give a united, clear response, and we are now preparing united countermeasures with our European partners. We are preparing them in case President Trump maintains his tariff threats.
The External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar expressed deep sorrow over a tragic train accident in Ademuz near Corboda, which is in Spain, on Sunday, that killed at least 39 people and injured more than 152. In a post on X, he said, and I quote, "Saddened to learn about the tragic train accident yesterday in Ademuz near Cordoba city in Spain. Deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones. Wishes for a swift recovery for those injured." Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi on Monday announced a snap general election for February 8. Takaichi said the lower house will be dissolved on January 23, with campaigning beginning from January 27. The Prime Minister said the election is aimed at securing a mandate for higher government spending, tax cuts, and a new national security strategy. As part of her economic speech, Takaichi, in fact, promised a 2-year suspension of the 8% consumption tax on food, a move designed to ease household pressures, boost spending, and generate employment. However, the government estimates suggest that the tax cut would reduce annual revenue by around $32 billion. The announcement rattled financial markets, pushing yields on Japan's 10-year government bonds to a 27-year high earlier in the day. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal met the US Senator Steve Daines and the US Ambassador to India Sergio Gore, and they had a productive exchange on views of bilateral partnership. The International Monetary Fund raised its forecast for India's economic growth in the fiscal year 2026 by 0.7%, that is to 7.3%. Citing strong momentum, the upgrade follows a revision earlier this month by the Indian National Statistics Office, which raised its estimate for growth to 7.4% this year, ending March 31, above the government's initial prediction of 6.3 to 6.8%. Now, in its World Economic Outlook report released on Monday, the IMF said that the upward revision for the fiscal 2026 reflected better than expected outturn in the third quarter of the year and strong momentum also in the fourth quarter. The fund had previously estimated growth for fiscal 2026 at 6.6% in its Article 4 staff report. The IMF further said that global growth is expected to remain steady with momentum in high-tech sectors set to be slow, but still partly offsetting the weakness in other sectors. India's Information and Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, in a social media post on X, highlighted the rapid strides made by India in the domain of electronics with regard to exports. The export further said, Bharat achieves a record electronics exports of $47 billion in calendar year 2025. More importantly, of the total, about $30 billion of exports were from PLI-driven smartphone exports. The minister also noted that India's electronics exports have grown 11 times since 2014-15. Electronics is now India's third largest export item, providing 25 lakh new jobs with strong women participation, opportunities for MSMEs, long-term skilling of the youth. The Government of India has invited approximately 10,000 special guests from diverse walks of life to witness the 77th Republic Day Parade on January 26, 2026 at the Kartavya Path in the national capital, New Delhi. The invitees include meritorious citizens, exemplary workers, and also representatives from various sectors who have made significant contributions to society. The special guests will have the unique opportunity to view the grand parade up close and also interact with respective union ministers, fostering greater public engagement with national leadership. Now, this initiative aims to honor outstanding individuals and enhance inclusivity in the Republic Day celebrations, reflecting the theme of collective national pride and progress. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. Available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn from all of us here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.